Hello to all my people, and if you're watching live, checking us out on YouTube, or listening on your favorite podcast provider, you are most definitely my people. Welcome to another episode of Botched Spots and Share Shots. We apologize for the absence last week, but we're back. I am still your host, a chef by trade and a mark by choice. I am the Will Gray, and joining me tonight, ladies and gentlemen, making his triumphant return to Rivet City Radio and Botched Spots and Share Shots, he is the host of the Hill Truth podcast. He is also the host of Ted Talks Wrestling over on YouTube, or Ted's Wrestling Takes. Ted, I apologize.
TTW, Ted's Takes on Wrestling.
Ted's Takes on Wrestling. I knew it was close, and I was like, this is a shitty time to not have written it down.
No, that's okay.
I had the letters right. You're pretty much the YouTube mastermind now. You dominated the audio podcast game for years, and then you jumped over to YouTube, and now you're just rocking YouTube. Ted, the Hillbilly Hill, how the hell are you? Welcome back.
I'm doing great. I just can't wait to take over Pinterest. That's my next conquest.
That's going to be the next game you take over. The number one podcaster in Antarctica. Now you're the number one YouTuber in Antarctica. Next, Pinterest,
that's right. DIY home decor. That's right. I'm coming for you, baby.
We're gonna kill the Pinterest game. Directly beside Ted on your screen is the co-host of Botched Spots and Share Shots and Nerdy News at 420, NXT on Tap. He is the host of Boyfriend Time and the Wolfpack podcast. It's everybody's favorite Ginger Ninja. It's our boy Jax. Jax, how the hell are you?
I'm doing fantastic tonight. I really am.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be back at work. Like, it's nice to run an episode. Missing last week was weird, but like to get the gang back together, we were all busy this week for separate reasons. So like to get together and have Ted here with us is like, cool. Hell yeah. So it's good to see you, Bo. Glad you're here. But it wouldn't be Botched Spots and Share Shots without her. Ladies and gentlemen, perched upon the Iron Throne in the boss bitch's corner. She is the Beyonce to my Hova, the Bonnie to my Clyde. She is the brains behind Rivet City Radio. She's the boss bitch, Al. Al, how's your Sunday?
It's going pretty good. Pretty good.
Fantastic. A few things before we get going into the episode. I want to give a shout out to Jaylan on the beats _Hill Tactics on Twitter. If you like our intro, you like the intro for Nerdy News at 420 or Smacking It Raw or Getting Off or She Elite Showcase, all of these amazing shows here and on YouTube, check him out. He's the guy on Twitch to make that happen, or Twitter to make that happen. I'm going to appease the algorithmic gods. Then we're going to get into Pissed Off for Greatness. First, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave a comment telling us how great we are, how terrible we sound. No matter what, it helps the algorithm. If you're on Twitch, it's also free to subscribe. Hit that button. We'll talk about your Prime Gaming subscription later. Hello to X. We're trying something out. We're broadcasting live on Twitter tonight. It's kind of an echo chamber in a lot of ways, but I have the opportunity to broadcast live there, so why the hell not? And if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, today, as it sits on May 12th, while we were recording, we were your number 66th ranked Apple podcast in the wrestling category. So thanks for that. Leave a comment, do all the things. Ted, Al, Bo, you guys have done this. You've all heard the show. You've been on the show. Here's the question of the week for you. Let's get it going. What has you guys pissed off for greatness this week? What has you guys the most worked up in pro wrestling? Good, bad, or indifferent?
I can go first.
You're going to go first?
This is actually what I had for last week, so it is a little bit dated of news, but it still hits. So last week, NXT did a lot of releases. They did 9 total releases. Of those 9, 10 if you count Dijak. Or not Dijak, Gulak. But not Dijak, Gulak. So half of the people they released were the people that were on that WWE Next Gen show on Roku. Like, here's my thing. If you're going to make your tryouts Division 1 athletes only, people that have zero experience wrestling, so you can, do whatever it is you think you're going to do to them. Like, keep them if you're going to do a show about them. Like, you had a show and then you just cut them off. I don't understand. Like, were these people just picked because they had Instagram followings and whatever the case is? They only kept two. The only people I've seen that were actually kept were two people. One girl whose name is like Xena or something on it, the NXT roster. She hadn't done anything yet. And then BJ Ray, who is
pretty much universally hated as being just an all-around just
douche.
Yeah.
He was a former wrestler at Duke University. He got kept. He was actually in a promo with someone whose name escapes me last week. Or this week. It was this week. But like, if you're gonna do a show, like, keep the fucking people you choose. Like, you just quietly release them because clearly the bulk of them were for their stories. Like, one of the guys they released like grew up in like a really like bad situation, so like his story made for good TV. So that was really long-winded and I didn't mean it to be, but
I think the gist of what you're saying, though, is that WWE, if they're going to bring in people who don't have an independent wrestling or pro wrestling background, they need to give them a little bit longer than 6 months to be TV ready, maybe?
Maybe.
Just
or
maybe?
Don't just have people on for a show and then quietly cut them. Like, if you're going to do the show, fucking do the show. And, like, make people that I want to watch. That's all.
Fair. Bo, Ted, did y'all watch the Next in Line show or whatever it was?
Nope.
No, but it sounds to me like if they're going to cut them, they need to do it loud, like American Idol. Just go ahead and get rid of them. They bring them in. They know they're going to cut them. Just go ahead and do it and let them cry as they go home and just make a big reality show out of it.
So instead of the Next Level program, Ted, what you're saying is they need to do the next WWE superstar and have like a panel of wrestlers like judging them on how well they bump and stuff. And then it's like, fuck you, go home. Like,
let's go to the roots of NXT. Let's do Tough Enough.
Dude, I would love to watch a new version of Tough Enough with some independent stars mixed with some like pro athletes, watching them do like the physical what are they fucking called? The competitions. Jesus, it slipped my mind. The physical comps and stuff, and then watching them learn to wrestle. Like, come on. I think Tough Enough would get over as fuck in 2024.
Or what was that one show they used to have, Pros versus Joes?
Yes.
Good idea.
That's along the lines. You could start getting into the idea of like amateur versus pro boxers and stuff, where it's like YouTuber. What's the show where they do it? Where it's Rough and Rowdy. It's a Barstool Sports thing where they get just regular ass people off the street who's got heat with each other, and they'll just go in there and just box till somebody gets knocked out. Like, we could totally do like a Rough and Rowdy where it's like somebody gets mouthy with Seth Rollins, and you slap some 16-ounce gloves on each hand and just let you beat the shit out of each other. Like,
right.
I'd watch that. Hell yeah. So ditch the Next in Line Level Up program or whatever the TV show is called and just give us Tough Enough back. And then let us box pro wrestlers. Why the fuck not? Bo, Ted, y'all got something for me? Oh,
Yeah,
like Tough Enough.
the fact that I have to this soon get Bianca versus Jade.
You think they're going to go with that with the King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring stuff already?
Oh, yeah.
That seems way too early for me, man. You think they're going to give it to us in 2 weeks?
Huh?
You think they're going to give it to us in 2 weeks? Because next week there'll be the next round. The week after that will be the semifinals, then the pay-per-view, right? So, like, in the next 10 days, do you think that'll be the culmination of that tag team, why they still hold the tag belts?
Yeah, it'll be a friendly competition.
Scout says that Tiff will beat Bianca. I actually think Bianca is going to get eliminated before she crosses paths with Jade, says Ty. I would be upset I think it's way too soon to break that tag team up, though. I can definitely agree with you on that one. I 1000% think that shouldn't happen before WrestleMania 41.
I don't think they're going to break them up. I just think it'll be a friendly competition, like a classic Ring of Honor match where they shake hands, they beat the shit out of each other, makes them a better tag team in the long run.
I would be okay with that if they could figure out a way to make it make sense. But I think I'm leaning more towards the side of Scals and Ty, though, with the idea that I think more than likely it'll be Bianca losing to Tiffany before Jade takes her out, because I see Jade going to the main event because they want her in Saudi.
Tiffany beats Bianca. I'm boycotting the WWE.
It'll be interesting to see like both Tiffany, how they do Jade and Tiffany in Saudi, because their characters are both so sexual, like their presence, and they won't be able to do that in Saudi. You know what I mean?
I thought about that too, Allison. And I'm looking forward to Jade's, if she goes to Saudi, like she'll be there. I'm looking forward to Jade's gear because she's always cosplaying as something.
She'll be a full-blown fucking Storm from X-Men with the white, head-to-toe white with the big cape and everything, with the white hair. Like, I see her going full-blown Storm from X-Men if she goes over there for sure. Matt says hello to all of us using government names and such. Hello, Mateo from Smacking It Raw. We love you. We miss you. It's good to see you, sir. Ted, that brings us to you, man. What you got for me?
I can't believe that Magnum TA turned on Mr. Wrestling number 2. He was a great mentor to him, just trying to teach him, and then he dissolved. Oh, no, wait a minute. That was 1984. This is 2024. I'm sorry, guys.
I was going to sell it and just play into it, bro. I was like, okay, so he's in Mid-South in the 80s? I was like, what was he watching?
But what that brings me into is Mr. Wrestling number 2 doesn't get the credit he deserves, because in 84, that was the biggest heel turn of that generation until you got to Barry Windham doing it on Luger and becoming part of the Horsemen. Wrestling number 2 was the favorite wrestler of President Jimmy Carter. They tried to, Jimmy Carter wanted him to go to the White House. He met with Secret Service. They wanted him to take his mask off, give him his government name. He refused to go to the White House and take his mask off to keep kayfabe. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And no disrespect, I love some of the luchadors. I love them. Okay, I love them. But I want somebody like in the 80s, like a Wrestling 2, like the Grappler, like the Masked Assassin, like the Masked Superstar. I want some just big old trucker guy with a mask on, or even someone, and not just for one match. We've had it for one match. I want somebody to do a whole storyline like Dusty did with the Midnight Rider, where we know the voice. You've gotten suspended. You know, Hogan did it. They come back in the mask. We know who it is, but they just pretend they're not. I want a storyline with that. I want a masked wrestler, just some big old trucker dude in a mask that we know. J.D. Drake, bring J.D. Drake with a mask on, okay, out of Ring of Honor, AEW, let him put a mask on. That's what I want.
I can get behind that. I'll see if I can do this as PC as possible, because some of the people listening know which promotions I work with on the independents and stuff. So I don't want to give too much out to pull the curtain back. We're working with a person who has a masked wrestler gimmick that's coming out because he's suspended. So he's going to be wrestling under a mask as a new character while he's suspended. And that's how it's all going to, like, it's going to be such a cool fucking story. But I appreciate that, because we love, like, the collective we, as in like me and a couple of the guys there, like, love that especially late 80s WCW feel, that the end of the territory, some of that deep rooted, like, good Southern wrestling with a capital R. You know what I mean? Ted, I'm not gonna dox you too bad, but North Carolina, it's the heart of the Jim Crockett promotions, man.
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely.
right up your alley. So I can get behind that. Plus, I'm in the process right now. I'm finalizing my plans this week. I'm rolling a new TikTok series out where I get old storylines over in 2024. So I'm going to like millennialize the stories from the 80s and 70s. And the first one I'm doing is Lawler and Coffin. And I'm going to get it over with wrestling fans in 2024. So I'm going to pick your brain, get some ideas from you as far as what I can use for that series, because that's right up your alley. And we need to do that show with BC where we continue the stories with long-term storytelling.
Yes.
Chat's going crazy. Thank you. We'll make sure you hit your DMs with wow, okay. Ty and Hex and Bridget and Shadow and everybody's here. The chat is a living, breathing entity tonight. We have nothing to do with them. We can't take responsibility for what's happening in that chat.
Shadow's here.
Shadow's here. I said Shadow was here, didn't I?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shadow's here. I thought I said Shadow.
Maybe you did. I just blocked you out.
Shadow says wrestling sucks, and I could definitely agree with that. Sometimes wrestling can be a little yucky. Mine has that. It's not always, and Ted, I wrote down in my notes, reference Ted, because their social medias in a lot of way have started to become these really massive echo chambers where it's like the same people liking and the same people retweeting. And then it's kind of all of the love and support stops there. People aren't coming to live shows to help each other out. People aren't listening to live shows once we put stuff out. And it's just some certain social medias, I'm not going to call anybody out by name, but it feels like a lot of social medias have become these echo chambers where people will like and retweet stuff or like your post or share a post, but then nobody comes through with the actual support of showing love the day of. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like the internet has become one big echo chamber. And those of you that are here listening with us tonight, we love you guys, every single one. AJ has a pissed off for greatness are the way male fans have been interacting with female wrestlers at shows. Did either of you guys see what happened with Sky Blue at the AEW show on Wednesday night? That was pretty yucky and pretty gross, so I can definitely agree with that. A fan got escorted out of the building because he was saying some really like out-of-pocket shit to Sky Blue during a match. He just busted in here like he owns the place.
I heard that.
So yeah, that's it. Pissed off for greatness is done. Stop calling STDs. God, you guys, I'm gonna stop reading the chat too now. Like, I'll just put it up, let you guys do your thing. Next, just knocking out the business. Match of the week.